Hopefully people can hear me. Can people hear me?
You are audible, yes.
That's great. So I'll just start the events from now on. Cool. We'll leave everyone a minute to join and then we'll get started.
Looks like we're about leveled off.
All right. Well, thank you for coming, everybody. This is the weekly Midjourney office hours. We do them every week at Wednesday, 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Basically, what we do is we talk about what we're working on. We what's hopefully coming, what we're thinking about, and then we try to answer questions. So let's get started. Gonna make it a little shorter today, just because I've got a lot of stuff I need that are blocked on me right now, and I need to try to things unblocked. But basically, we're gonna start moving the website more towards open launch. I think there are sort of two big things we're gonna try to do. We're gonna try to have a new sort of onboarding personalization related thing, and then we're gonna, which I won't give the full details for, but it'll be good. And then we're gonna try to we're gonna rearrange the rooms again and try to synchronize them more with the Discord side and see how that works. So we'll probably synchronize some of the, like, there's no reason why we'd have a prompt chat room on Discord that's different from the one on website. So we'll try to synchronize the rooms. We might collapse a few of the rooms too, like some of the super user rooms, like 10K and 1K. Just make it super users, then sync the super user room, sync the daily theme rooms, things like that. So it'll be like a smaller number of rooms that are more synchronized. There's always a base level of activity. And then, yeah, the new personalization onboarding, and then that's probably it. We're trying to get the onboarding better in general. I think it's not great still, but I think we're approaching the point where um, we'll just have to take the hit and hope for the best, um, rather than sort of holding things indefinitely. So we're approaching that point where we'll do that. I think we are going to take our next 6.5 like release and break it into two releases. Unfortunately, the two major algorithm improvements are clashing with each other. And so what we're going to do is we're going to try to break it into one release that's more focused on pixel quality. And then we're going to collect more data from the users with something like a rating party. And then we'll have another release that's more related to the hand coherence and body coherence and text accuracy. So I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to call the versions. Maybe it'll be, makes me think it's going to be more like 6.1 and 6.2. But we'll see. So we're going to try to get that out sooner rather than later, but it will still take a while. Unfortunately, all these training runs are just excruciatingly slow at this point, and we are making progress, but it's like many steps and then many levels of QA. And so the next level, one of the reasons why I think nobody really has the sort of subtle pixel details looking great on AI sort of generated stuff is not that it's impossible, but it's just a huge pain. So We're going through that pain, and hopefully we'll earn something out of it. If not, I think it'll be a painful lesson to maybe not be too incremental and just sort of only work on giant, sort of complete rewrites. But we were trying to get a sort of like easy win in with the sort of body and hand and pixel quality stuff. And it definitely hasn't been easy. So, there's there's a saying that so like easy things are hard and hard things are hard. So sometimes trying to do things easy because you think it'll be easier doesn't actually make a difference. You should just go for the hard thing. So I think in hindsight, I would have done that with the algorithms. I maybe wouldn't have done that with the website. Maybe with the website, I wish I had like copied the Discord more first before making a totally new UI. But that's sort of neither here nor there. Um, we're doing our best, and we are making progress. And I do think any of the updates with the algorithms will be very noticeable, big improvements. And I'm sorry that they've all taken so long. I think we're all sort of unhappy about how long it takes to do the core model updates. I would encourage everybody again to try using personalization. The personalization is basically like a new model. I enjoy using it a lot more. It's very easy to set up. A lot of people still aren't using it. So hopefully the better onboarding that we're working on will change that. But and then we are getting more data from the users on it. So at some point we will retune it and it should get better for everybody. We are slowly moving towards some kind of personalization versioning system that will let us update it without breaking your old codes. I don't know when that will come out, but we're moving towards that. We're also moving towards a version of the Explore page that's more powered by your personalization, so that way you can kind of get a better Explore page as well. All that's probably going to take a month. There's not really anything super short term, except for that we might release some way to explore the personalization based off demographics. Um, I've tempted to you kind of push it into more of a sort of what does the male and female aesthetic look like? What is the sort of older versus younger and different countries and things like that. It's definitely I can see how it might be somewhat of a controversial feature, and I have different people telling me different things about whether or not we should do it. I think we'll try to test it with the guides and mods first and see how they feel. Um, I think I know nowadays it's yeah, I mean anything involving demographics and the differences between people has a certain degree of controversy to it. But then on the flip side, like people do have biases, and it's my feeling is that it's better to explore our biases than to hide them. But and the kind of I guess I'm a little bit more towards like facilitating exploration, trying to seek out truth rather than trying to sort of hide everything. But I don't know. We'll think about it a little bit more. But yeah, I mean, as a designer, you somebody could pay me like I used to be a professional designer, and if something more feminine or more masculine or more in the style of China versus the style of Japan, I did have the ability to do that. And when you ask it to sort of do this, it does basically do that. And sometimes it's kind of subtle. It's often quite subtle. However, it's it feels right. Um, and it's interesting. So um, I find it interesting. And yeah, so I'm leaning towards releasing that. If we decide to release that, it'll come out sooner rather than later. Um, that's the thing that's the other that's like pretty easy to do in the short term. But I think we'll have to kind of I need to like code for one day to get all the stuff over the line, and then it'll take one day to put it through, and then we like another day to test it, and then be relatively easy feature to launch. Um, so we would try to add that as sort of a parameter system. Um, you can definitely tell the difference between male and female, old and young, like older and younger users, and a pretty big difference in LGBT and non-LGBT. If you break the types of LGBT up, like gay versus trans versus lesbian, it's not that different, but there's a pretty big difference between the straight and the heterosexual and the non-heterosexual stuff. Um, yeah, most of it doesn't really feel surprising. None of it really feels surprising to me as a designer. I mean, but I've definitely seen other people who say they can't tell the difference or that they are surprised by it. So, it's interesting to, yeah, I find it interesting. It's been, I mean, out of it as interesting in some ways as the main personalization feature. Um, but I'm kind of debating about the right way to make it work. Um, I let's see what else. V7 is moving. It's gonna be faster and the image quality better, and it'll be faster and with better aesthetics, and it should also have better language understanding. Um, 3D is moving along though a little slowly, but it's moving, and I think it's going to work quite well. Video is moving, though it's more slow. I think we feel somewhat conflicted with video at this point. And there's already like every baby's mama and grandma too shipping the shittiest video models that are possible to try to raise money from investors, who they then tell, other people can't make video models, so you should give us money. So kind of a weird world, and it's not that we couldn't make a shitty model too, but it doesn't really feel good to do it. So for us, it kind of puts us in a position where we're like, well, there's a lot of shitty stuff out there. So I guess we should wait until we feel like something is good. And um so that means that the video will probably take longer. I think that nobody's seen like a decent 3D yet. Um so I think the second we have any kind of decent 3D, we'll probably release it. I think that video right now is in some weird place where like, I don't know, if you put on like if you kind of like try not to look at it too hard, you can say, well, it is moving and it will get better, but it doesn't feel fundamentally compelling in its current state. So it's kind of in a weird place where like, yeah, the video models are moving things, but is it fundamentally like a compelling product? Um, you know, so I'm think we might take our time for video, and it might be a while. But I think 3D will come relatively quickly comparatively. And I do think that like half of what people do in video right now is just move the camera. And so when you're just trying to move the camera, that's really just 3D, you know? I'd say like most of the video stuff is just doing camera movement. Um, with really distorted movements of the actual objects in the scene. So we'll see. I feel a bit mixed about the video stuff, but it will eventually be like really, really good. And unfortunately, this sort of like the congested um, market there, I think actually discourages us from doing anything that's like fun but bad. Just because it kind of feels like we would be playing everybody else's games. Everybody else would be like, oh, look, we can make bad models and they make bad models. Therefore, we're like the same as them or something. So I think we'll just hold out that video for a while until I'm till we're feeling like really good about it. Like this is a good video product that we want to use that has reasonable pricing that where most of the videos look good. So we have a good idea on how to build that, but unfortunately, because we're doing 6.5 3D V7 video and 3D at the same time, it's super fucking slow to make progress. So we really need to try to get some of these projects over the line and then start consolidating resources. But it's been just a really slow for the last 4 months. And yeah. But everything will come out and it'll be really good. There's no risk there. Um, yeah. Um, what else? Trying to get a bunch of new weirder projects off the ground, but it'll take a few months. So hopefully over the next few months we'll see some like newer, weirder projects coming out. I want to do a lot of weird projects. I'm not really interested in trying to follow a market. At the end of the day, like we're here to build cool stuff that wouldn't get built otherwise. So I do think there's some really cool stuff that we are going to be able to come out with, but I probably won't go into it very much for now. Um, that'll probably be something that we talk more about in like our 5-year roadmap kind of vibe. We kind of start talking about our longer term roadmaps. Um, but yeah, I mean, a lot of ways it does feel like things are slow, but on the flip side, like my previous company hand tracking system, and it would take about 18 months for every new version of it. So, on average, like very new major versions take a year to 18 months. So right now, we've been doing about 3 major releases a year. So we're going like 5 times faster than software traditionally goes. But so we are going fast. I do think we can make it go a lot faster in the future still, but we have to kind of break out our teams and to sort of more, I don't know, kind of the pipelined iterative release cycles. So we'll definitely get to be much faster over time. Um, and yeah, so the short term things are probably like a demographic explorer, syncing the channels, newer personalization stuff, um, opening up the website, and followed up by some kind of, or it's some similar timeline, some kind of 6.5 like thing. So those are kind of things that we're working on. Um, there's a lot of other things we'd like to do, whether it's organizational things. We'd love to do more style exploring stuff. Unfortunately, we just don't have the people for it. So some people are moving towards longer term R&D rather than towards short term releases, which I go back and forth on, but I think it's okay. Um, it's hard to balance short term with long term. I probably probably gonna push most of the stuff to past the website launch, past the 6.5 launch. So after the 6.5 and the website launch, we'll probably start moving towards a bunch of short term web related things and then consolidate our research resources more towards the V7s. And then the 3D should start to move faster because the data collection is getting better. Um, um, feel like I'm always missing things, but usually this is the sign that I've gotten through all the things that I'm publicly talking about right now. I would say that about we're probably sharing like 70% of the stuff we're working on, but there's like 30% is probably pretty secret still. But our goal is to move towards announcing a lot of stuff at the same time. So hopefully we'll work on all the things in the open within the next 6 months, but I kind of want to build it up. And yeah, um, hopefully we'll upgrade the upscalers for the 6.5 type stuff. I'm asking the team to start testing that soon. So I'm very much hoping that the Pixel update release works out because one of the things that I most dislike about the V6 model is sort of the sort of small pixel texture level things. And my hope is that that looks just a lot better soon. And when it looks better, it's quite stunning. It's you can kind of realize like there's this huge missing thing before. The better, I think the better coherence will be more subtle. Like instead of getting bad hands half the time, you'll get bad hands 25% of the time or 10% of the time. So the coherence things won't that strictly let you do things you couldn't do before, but it will make good things much more consistent. So it'll be much easier to do a lot of the trickier subjects. You won't have to re-roll as much. Um, and so I think that'll be really appreciated too. Um, cool. I think that's everything off the top of my head right now. I would still like to try to figure out a way of using some of our spare server resources on the weekend more efficiently. Um, However, we don't quite have enough people to work on those features, so maybe sometime in the future we'll add like a batch mode or something where you can like let it do a batch over the weekend. But I'm probably going to push towards opening up the website before I start doing the batch stuff. All right, so now I'm going to move to the lightning round question mode. So jump into the VC text channel at the bottom of the thing and write some questions, and I'll just answer questions for a bit. Oh, actually, I need to take a 1 minute break to move my laundry, or else I will not have any clothes to wear when I have to leave the house. So, 1 second, I'm gonna walk around the corner. I'm back in 15 seconds. Quick break. All right, the laundry is churning. All right, let's see. What are the questions? What happened to the color reference? I really want to do it. Don't have time. What does syncing rooms mean? It means that when you say something or maybe make a job in the room, it shows up on both sides. Will V7 be more vibey artistic? I'm not sure, but we're hoping it looks better. Character consistency definitely can get better with V7. Um, we could definitely. We're just gonna work on 3D do like the 360 stuff right now. Um, it's not hard to make pixel perfect models. They just get really expensive. So it's a combination of making the pixels perfect and making it so that you can still run it in a reasonable time. We don't give how many. We don't say how many images we've generated because it just becomes a dick measuring contest. We make the number of images we make is huge. No one makes more images than us. When I was a designer, did I create any fonts? I did not create fonts. I used fonts. Um, but I'm interested, and I have like typography books in my house, and so I like typography a lot. But making a font is a lot of work. And I did things that were a lot of work, but I was more into product design and graphic design and photography, and I mean making sci-fi paintings. Um, the explore page is going to by default, just be the general explore page, but I think it makes sense to have like a for you tab or something where we try to personalize it more. It does look a lot better, and so hope it's just to give people the options. Yeah, I really would like to get someone to help me do my laundry, but maybe in the next few months I will uh, get someone to help me with my laundry. Unfortunately, laundry is yeah, it's a tough job. Um, I think we'll get 3D before video. I mean, they'll both look good, but I just think 3D is gonna look good more quickly. We're not specifically we're looking at what like an enterprise thing would be, but I'm not super passionate about it. So, I think at some point we'll make something that's like more compatible with what a company needs, but I am not super passionate about it, so it's not necessarily the highest priority. Um, what is my favorite anime? I think my favorite anime is Ghost in the Shell. Possible I'm more like Trigun though. The 3D models will not be rigged. They will probably not be models. They'll be more like light fields, nerfs. Um, I don't know what some of these questions are. We're definitely gonna improve the upscalers. We're definitely both. Hopefully, the pixel detail will look better for the 6.5, and then for V7, hopefully, we'll get to a high resolution again. But hard to say what exactly it will look like for V7. I think we will do a personal use API at some point, but we're not really rushing to do an API because it adds a lot of moderation overhead. So right now, we're trying to just get our general moderation to be updating more regularly and easily before we invest in more things that need moderating. I think the feedback page, we should probably like pause it for a bit. Um, well, I don't know. There's different. I thought it was feedback mean. So you read the feedback, the Discord feedback. I think the website voting feedback one is we should probably just pause it and call it like season 1, season 2. I think we have the information we need there for now. Um, would like to make the explore page better still. I don't really like the current video products. I think they are they like it's cool. Definitely the current video, it's cool. Video is cool. Movement is I think movement is cool. I think time is cool, but I think a lot of the video models have like the sort of seasick nausea vibe to them that makes me like physically uncomfortable. And even like V1 images that Midjourney made, I think the distortions were aesthetically interesting, but I think that most of the video distortions are not aesthetically interesting. And so it's sort of a subjective take, but I feel like most sophisticated artists and designers would agree. Um, but there's definitely a novelty factor, and movement is cool. And if you animate a Midjourney image, you take the goodness of the Midjourney image and you preserve like 50% of it at least. So it feels like you're hitting a supermodel with a bat, and it still might like look better than some people, but it doesn't. Yeah, it makes me feel a bit mixed sometimes. But have a good time. I mean, at the end of the day, the most important thing is that you're having fun. It doesn't really matter if I like the video models that other people make. Um, Obviously, there'll be video models people will use for like Hollywood things, but I think for us, it's more of a stepping stone to the world simulators. If I could prove any scientific theory, which one would I choose? I think it's time that we resolve the Fermi paradox, and people like learn that there are lots of aliens in the universe that are smart. That would be nice. I would flip that switch because I think it would make us a lot more humble. And I think sometimes we need to be more humble. And it's sometimes we've like sort of extinguished a lot of nature in the world. So we kind of act like we're the only things that are alive or intelligent. And obviously the world used to have a lot of other intelligent monkeys. And I think and a lot of other creatures. And I think that sort of humbled us in a way that was sort of spiritually important. So it'd be nice to have some other intelligences again. So that'd be my scientific, Fermi paradox. Whether that's a scientific theory now, we can talk about that. But I'm just gonna say resolve the Fermi paradox. Yeah, go with the zoo theory. I'm gonna prove the zoo theory, which is the zoo theory says that there are lots of aliens, but that we're basically in a nature preserve. They don't mess with the tiny animals, um, and that's why they don't talk to us. Kind of like how when there's a lot of uncontacted tribes in the Amazon that don't know about the rest of the world, we think it's like morally good that we don't contact them. I think that there's a certain degree of similarity between us and more advanced civilizations. Any contact with a sufficiently advanced civilization would probably destroy us. So better that they kind of leave us alone. But it'd be nice for people to know that they're out there. I think the 3D Midjourney hardware is helping. Um, what's the secret U.S. military Midjourney called? I don't know. I don't really know about military the mill journey. um, Upscalers will get better. We will do transparent backgrounds eventually. I don't know what family personalization would mean. I guess you'd have to personalize the model for every person in the family and then add them all together. Kind of interesting. Isn't an easy way to do that right now. Maybe once we have profiles. Is there a need for UX researchers? UX research is kind of a weird word. Like it can almost mean anything. We definitely need more people to help in general with the website. I'm trying to find more questions. Will it be possible to sync private rooms with Discord? Probably not for a while. I think right now we're just trying to get there to be more room activity before we add more room features. So the goal of the syncing is to try to get more activity. Um, Yeah, I mean, hopefully we'll get some model release this month for the 6.5 stuff. Personalization does use explore page likes. Yes. All right. Yeah, we're gonna have the sort of the custom quick commands shared between the Discord and the website. Yep. We've not been seeing the room activity increases that we've been wanting to see. So that's why we're gonna try to do the syncs and combine them a bit. It's possible after we release the website, we'll make some mobile apps. I think the challenge that I feel with mobile apps right now is that I would rather rethink the Midjourney experience for mobile phones than just shove it into a phone. Um, I think when we have faster models, there's a lot of ways of doing that, but it's a little hard to say. I think we are gonna have sort of the web versions of the phone versions of the web stuff, no matter what, but it's going to be like sort of a heavy power tool mobile app. So will we have sort of power tool mobile apps? Yes. But I guess I think slightly more about what does a more native mobile Midjourney look like. That's rough. We'll get better. I have not played Polytopia. All right. I think that we're starting to peter off. I don't know if we're going to do a lot of voice things today. I would like to jump in about 20 minutes. We could do a few voices real quick, and then one last um, lightning round. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. But today is going to be a shorter day than usual.
Hi.
Hello.
I got a script, so then I put it through Chat GPT here, and then I just make all the imagery for all the characters, and then for each character I make permutation prompts here.